Hey everybody, it's your old pal Steve Moore here, owner of RUNMOORE, this fabulous brick and mortar running shop located in Westminster, Maryland. We have a very exciting shoe review today. It is the all-new Mizuno Neo Vista. This is a brand new sort of direction for Mizuno. This brand has been around for over 100 years, making shoes since the early 1900s. So this is one of those heritage brands, and this is a very different shoe for a shoe brand like Mizuno, who's been making sort of, I don't want to say similar shoes, but they've sort of had their little niche area for a long time. And so seeing a shoe like this, and even some of like the Rebellion stuff we've seen the last couple years, like it is certainly a new direction for Mizuno. So let's kind of get into some of the specs of this very different looking shoe. This is a $180 super comp sort of shoe. This has a 8mm drop. On the men's side, it's 9.4 ounces, and on the women's, it's 7.8 ounces. This has a 44mm stack height from high down to 36. This also has a stretch woven upper, so we're like, a little more of a booty cup feel to it. And it has Mizuno's Energy Next midsole to it, which is more of just like a fancy EVA, if we're gonna be honest on what the midsole is. And this came out in June of 2024. So there, some of all the fun specs on this shoe. Now, what is this shoe? Because it's very different, obviously, from a lot of the stuff on our wall. This is now trying to put Mizuno back on the foot. If I had to guess on the direction that sort of the brand is going, I feel like they're trying to find that younger demographic of Mizuno fans. Honestly, like a lot of the people that come in here that are Mizuno people have kind of been ride or die for a while with Mizuno. Ironically, their most popular everyday trainer is a rider. So I feel like they're trying to kind of catch some of that younger generation and maybe get them into the brand and let them sort of grow and develop into the different lines that Mizuno has. But for a lot of times, it's not necessarily a brand that gets picked up off the wall like first go round. When you see like a Mizuno rider or something, it's great, it's an awesome shoe, but it might not be like the, oh my gosh, I gotta pick that up. This has that. For us, when people come in, there is a bit of like shell shock or like that looks cool or I wonder what that shoe's about, and this is a get picked up frequently type of shoe. I am excited because I actually got a pair of these a couple weeks ago, so I've been able to put some miles into it and get some feedback on it. And seeing this shoe last year, we were really excited to see this and sort of the direction of the brand. We've seen brands like Asics and some of these other heritage brands that kind of went away for a while and now are storming back, and that's where I feel like Mizuno is like, we kind of have to keep up with everybody. So while it's important to like totally revamp some of their old guys, it's good to also bring in some new fresh blood into the mix, and this is what this shoe is. And I of course, like a lot of people, because of my sort of preconceived notions of what Mizuno shoes are, I was like a little bit of, what do we got going on here? Like, this is such a different direction of everything with the brand. How's that gonna perform? Because honestly, they've put a lot of energy, a lot of marketing, and a lot of like directions for the next couple years into sort of this style and this design and this, where we want to be and competing with these other guys on the wall. So anyway, long story short, very excited to have this shoe on the wall finally, and very excited to actually go run some miles into it. Right out of the gate, when I first saw it, I, of course, like most people, was like, not a big fan of the booty cup. I'm just not my sort of scene. But I will say, I've run in a decent amount of shoes like this over the years as far as the upper goes. This was one of the better ones, and it's really tricky. You can really kind of botch this, and you can really sort of alienate people who will, try to shove their foot in and go, nah, it's not for me. And we've seen it here with shoes that I thought did a pretty good job on having like a nice secure upper, where people kind of put their toes in and be like, doesn't fit, and rip it off. Honestly, like it's amazing. Like you see people come in here that's like, have you ever tried on a shoe before? Like they really will just put a half-ass effort and be like, nope, doesn't work, next shoe. So there is a little bit of that concern with me of making sure this kind of fits people, because if that doesn't work, if the original step-in doesn't work, the shoe's not gonna work. But for me and my staff here, that part actually they did a fantastic job on. This is one of the better constructed uppers that I felt on like a booty style shoe like this. I felt like it kind of gave me where I needed it to be, and I didn't feel too sloppy in it when I first stepped into it in the shoe. And I think that's in my entire staff here kind of had that same initial thought of like, okay, they did a great job with that part, because that is a tough part to it. If I could be honest, I kind of wish they made two different versions of this shoe, one with the booty construction and one without, because again, there's gonna be people that just don't like that. And I will say on my first go-round run, I actually did have to pop this off and just play around with it because I felt a little tight here. Like, it just took me a little bit to kind of get it the way that I wanted on the upper once I started running. Slipped in fine, kind of running. I just needed to tweak it, but once I kind of figured that out, every run after has been just fine. But this is more of a roly-poly shoe. You know, this has that sort of nice general idea of a super smooth, nice transition shoe, you know, and that's obviously what a lot of people are going to when you look at the wall, just looking at shapes, and not just one brand, but a lot of brands are trying to get into that nice efficient move, and that's a big different change for Mizuno, especially on a trainer, having something that incorporates that. I wish this shoe had a little more premium of a midsole to it. It's extremely comfortable, and I ran a variety of paces into it, but I feel like to call this a super comp shoe, I wish it would have had something a little more elevated than just sort of like an EVA midsole. But I will say, considering it's not a premium midsole, it felt still nice and fast and efficient. And while it's not a carbon plate, this is a fiberglass plate, it still kind of did the same job as what like a non-carbon plate shoe would see. And again, we're seeing a lot more shoes in the marketplace in this sort of $180 and this sort of super comp vibe that are really not meant to compete in. To me, it's kind of odd to call a shoe a super comp, but really you're probably not gonna compete in this shoe. It's more meant for like a training shoe. And I think that's sort of, when I was running in this, I tried it in a couple different paces, and I have a route that I like to do when I first try on a new shoe to kind of do these videos that has some big hills into it, some big downhills, some flat sections. I do 1.5 miles on the track, like it kind of goes all through town. And so I can try it in a variety of different ways and applications and paces. And to me, this shoe felt best sort of in flat areas or on the track. When I was going like downhills and uphills in this, I felt like I wasn't 100% stable inside of the shoe. But when I was just getting in that nice groove, this shoe performed at its best. I felt like it had like a nice little bounce to it. And I've heard people from on my staff that are like, this can be sort of a workout shoe, or some people are like, this might be like my recovery shoe. And this will kind of be in that super comp trainer where people use it as like like, I just need to go kind of get some miles in and not feel the ground and kind of be efficient. And maybe it's my long mileage day. Like I have one of my staff here is like, this will be my long run shoe. And it might not have been exactly what Mizuno was initially thinking of when they made this shoe. I'm sure they were thinking more of like a fast paced trainer. And you're gonna have some people like that. And again, if I was gonna go use this for like a workout, I would take it to the track and I would probably do like, you know, mile repeats or something in this. I don't think I would do 200s in it. And I also don't think I would go out and do like a hilly road 10 miler in this. You know, I think the right application, this shoe is going to be really fantastic for people. It's just, I feel like there's a lot of things that are good and a lot of different pieces of it. It almost feels a little confusing as to which direction this shoe is kind of going in. Is it supposed to be a workout shoe? Is it supposed to be a race shoe? Is it supposed to be a recovery shoe? And I guess at the end of the day, it's sort of into the eye of the beholder. It's extremely comfortable. It's definitely on one of the top scales for like that type of shoe where I can put on and feel nice and efficient in it. I probably wouldn't race in it. I probably wouldn't do like the downhill mile in it, but like finding the right purposes for this shoe, I think this shoe will be nice and in your rotation. This for me, this is now gonna be my office shoe. What does that mean? Okay, so I do a lot of random running around here, and sometimes I just like to keep an outfit here at the shop in case I have a chance during lunch to go out and run. And I wanna put something on that I can feel like I can do a bunch of stuff in, I can go up to the track, I can do a little bit of everything, it's comfortable. This shoe is gonna live here at RUNMOORE, and when I need to go out and run, I'm gonna be quite happy throwing this bad boy on and doing some stuff around town into it. I don't know what else. I can't say I'm gonna race in it. I can't say I have anything long-term plans for this shoe, but so far the feedback has been good. We've been popping it on people. We've had people running in it. We've sold a few of it. So far I would say the feedback has been good, and we're excited to have this. I will say, I think that this is gonna be a shoe that will be kind of limited release. I mean, as far as like, I think it's gonna be hard to get at a certain point. So far from what I've talked to from Mizuno, his sales have been exceeded expectations out of the gate. So it'll be interesting to see if that sort of continues and what this will look like for the brand as a whole in like the next year or so. Like, will we look back at this and be like, this was a weird direction from the brand, it kind of took them off track? Or is this gonna bring in a whole new wave of people to Mizuno and it's gonna pull them up with sort of the way we talked about with ASICs? So time will tell, but we were really excited to see just a different direction, just because it's kind of fun to see like some new shoes in the games to when we're pulling stuff for people of like, oh, you like that kind of shoe? You should try this new Mizuno shoe. Trust me, it's not like any Mizuno shoe you run in. So I applaud sort of just the like putting yourself out there, and I think they did a pretty good job overall for being a completely different direction from the brand. Anyway, that's the new Mizuno Neo Vista, and if you have any questions on this, feel free to leave it down below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. And if you want to try this fine product, just enter promo code RUNMOORE at checkout. That's RUNMOORE, one word, and you'll save 10%. If you found this video exciting, engaging, entertaining, and all that good jazz, do me a solid and like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. Thank you so much. Happy running, and if you're in the greater Westminster, Maryland area, stop on by and say hello. Happy running. We'll see you around town.